So now we will talk about the scariest scene. Okay, so how scary was this scene? Raise your hands. Okay?
5 out of 10.
All right. 5,000.
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. What does 5 out of 10 mean?
Normal, pretty normal.
Pretty normal, not too scary. Okay. Guy, what do you think?
Not scary at all.
Okay, Guy says that it's not scary at all. Okay, yes.
Not scary at all.
Not scary at all. I think this is the scariest idea. What do you think? Not scary at all. So far, one person said like medium scary, not scary at all. Yes.
Scary when the clown appears.
Okay, scary when the clown appears. All right, well, why was it scary? For those who said it was scary, Theme, you think it's scary?
I think it's 3.
All right, that's not the question here. Why was it scary? Cake said it's scary. Why was it scary?
Because it's having blood.
Because it had what?
Blood.
Because it had blood. So it was scary because it had blood. Okay, what do you think?
It's scary because we doesn't know that the clown will just appear when we doesn't prepare for it.
Okay, it's scary because we didn't know the clown would appear when we weren't prepared for it. All right, let me go back to Cake and the blood. Why is blood scary, Cake?
Because the blood is coming out of the mouth.
Yeah, but you have blood, right? Are you scary?
But I'm scared of blood.
But you're scared of blood. Okay, one moment because we're going to move on. So let me tell you, did you know that this scene is a lot scarier to your teachers and parents? I think that this will be the scariest scene for parents to watch. And certainly it's a scary scene for teachers to watch. Do you feel like it was scary, Master Guardian?
For me, it's a bit scary. Just a little bit scary.
Okay, so why? Why do you think it's scarier for your parents and adults than it is for you? Let me go over here and he can answer. Yes?
Because the parents and teacher take care of them and the student died. Because there's no blood.
Okay, so he said because the parents and teachers take care of them and the student died because there is no blood. All right, maybe. Yes?
I think that parents are scared because they love their children and they don't want to get them away.
That's a very good answer from Guy. So Guy thinks the parents are scared because they love their children. And he said get them away, but I think he meant they want to protect their children. Every year I ask students what kind of movie they'd like to make. And every year students want horror. Every year. If I ask you, what are you going to say? Every year students want horror. Sometimes students want action. But a lot of the boys say action. And action is harder to film because, we can't do dangerous things, right? When you're filming an action movie, you have to do stunts. And I don't want to make you do stunts. Okay? So stunts like running and jumping and swinging from something. That's what makes action, right? Action is like when we see dangerous things happening. So to film an action movie, I would have to really put you in danger, right? So the other thing that people always say, which you said too, is horror, okay? But there are many things we actually learn from horror because horror is almost always about facing real fears. For example, fear of the unknown, all right? If you ever see a ghost movie, it's always about hearing things and finding things that are wrong, finding things that shouldn't be where they are, right? So it's not about ghosts because ghosts aren't scary in real life, all right? Number one, there's no scientific proof that there has ever been a ghost in real life, okay? But even if there was a ghost, it wouldn't be scary because if you met a ghost, you would be able to ask questions that we don't know the answers to. Like, what happens when we die? Is it cold after death? Do you wear the same clothes every day? Are these the clothes you died in? Is there a God? You know, there's like so much information that we could get if we could meet a ghost, right? So that's not scary. But in the movies, it's scary because it's a fear of the unknown, a fear of chaos. If you've ever watched like a zombie movie, right? It's not the fear of zombies, but it's usually like the fear of other gangs who are also surviving, right? And then they end up at war with you to get your food and water. Yes? Chaos is like when things are not in order. Here at the school, we keep everything in good order. But what if you came here and anybody was allowed to bully you? People were allowed to kick you whenever they feel like it, and people were allowed to steal your bag and take your phone. That's chaos. Would that be fun? But that's what happens in a zombie movie, right? So that's the scary thing. Yes?
Chaos is no responsibility.
Yeah, chaos is no order, no responsibility. All right. We've also got the fear of being alone. Lots of movies, lots of horror movies put people in situations where they are all alone with nobody to rely on, but they need to learn to rely on themselves. Fear of being powerless, you know, like no one's going to help you. You can only help yourself. Fear of death, okay, and that's what we just saw. Raise your hand if you're scared of death. Okay? Raise your hand if you're scared of somebody around you dying. Yeah, so that's why horror movies are so popular, is because we can face our fears and we can experience through a movie overcoming those fears, because there's always a happy ending, usually, okay? So this scene is scary to us adults because we know how precious life is. I think when you watch it and you see Mesa being squeezed, maybe you just think, oh, it's scary because he has blood. But for us, it's scary because this is an innocent little girl whose life is precious. And the one thing I don't like about horror movies or even action movies is that sometimes people die and then in the next scene, nobody cares. Nobody even talks about it, right? So in this movie, when I make stuff, I want you to remember how precious life is, because your parents know how precious it is, and I know how precious your life is, and that's what makes it scary to see this happen, because this is real. The clown might not be real, but bad people who will get close to you and hurt you are real. And your parents know that. I know that. Teacher guardian knows that. That's what makes it scary. And the more that you understand that and realize how precious your life is, the more you will know how to avoid strangers when you go out to the market and somebody like this tries to talk to you or get close to you, right? And that's what I want you to learn. Cake had her hand up, yes? Scary movie has what?
Dangerous theme.
Yeah, it has a dangerous theme because there has to be a sense of danger. Yes?
Sometimes they don't know when it's gonna come, so it can make someone heart attack.
Yeah.
Fainted.
In real life, I'm sure that has probably happened. Yes, I hope that never happens when I make something. Idea? So what you mean, why would somebody hurt you? That's the scary part. That's the scary part. There are lots of reasons that people hurt other people. And it's not always the same reason. It's lots of different reasons.
Can you tell me one reason?
Will I tell you one reason? Sometimes people themselves are hurt. Like sometimes when people grew up, they did not learn the right morals and the right values, the same values that we try to teach to you at school, right? Do you remember the values I taught to you? What's habit 1? Raise your hand. Yes?
Be proactive.
Be proactive. What about begin
Begin with the end in mind.
Begin with the end in mind. Put
First thing first.
Put first things first. Think
Win-win.
Think win-win. Seek. Okay, somebody new, way over here. Yes.
Seek first to understand, then to be understood.
Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Synergize and sharpen the saw. I don't want to waste all the time talking about values, but going back to Ida's question, the reason why we learn values and morals and principles is so that we can grow up to be good, compassionate, empathetic, loving people that don't hurt others, okay? But not everybody grows up with those principles, and they will hurt other people to get what they want. Okay, so let's continue on here. Oh, look at this. Look at this. So, for those of you who don't know how precious life is and who don't know why that scene was so scary, raise your hand if you have a dog or a cat. Imagine that same scene. The clown comes out and he's got his bony hands. And imagine that clown comes up to your dog or cat and picks it up and squeezes it until it falls on the floor. Would that be scary?
Yes.
All right. Yes, Theme?
It's natural for someone to die. It's the beauty of a human. They get birth and then they do the things that they want until they die. That's the beauty of being a human.
That is the beauty of being a human. Death is a part of life, and we're going to talk about that on the next slide. But you are correct. Death is something that we need to talk about, and death is something that you need to understand. So now you can understand why the scene is scary, because maybe when you watched it the first time, you play so many video games and you watch so many movies that death is like nothing, right? But now that you think about how precious life is, it's a lot more scary, isn't it? To think about that happening to your dog or cat. So think about your parents who love you more than you love your dog or cat. That's a very scary scene. Now, Theme was talking about death, how none of us can escape death. It's part of life. And this is, raise your hand if you're Buddhist. Okay?
What is Buddhist?
That means you go to the temple and you pray to Buddha. Okay? So Buddha teaches us a lot of lessons in life. And one of the things that we learn in Buddhism is that we are but guests visiting this world. Though most of us do not know this. When we go to school every day, when we wake up every day, we don't really think that we're just visiting this planet, this earth. We take it for granted that we're alive and that we're going to go and see our friends. But we're only visiting, and we can leave anytime. And those who see the real situation, those who understand how precious life is, those who really know what a gift we have every day, no longer feel inclined to quarrel. That means they no longer want to fight. They no longer want to cause harm, idea. So that helps answer your question. If you have good principles, if you are spiritually healthy, and you know how precious life is, you don't want to fight with others. You don't want to argue with others. You don't want to cause more chaos behind you in the world. You want to make a better world, right?